I'm changing up the Artisan uniform. I decided we're not smart enough, so we're all going to be rocking these kind of outfits from now on.
I make this look good.
In today's episode, we tackle a crazy cable run, hack out loads of walls and ceilings, John and Reuben say goodbye to Jenny, and we change up the Artisan uniform. Let's roll the intro.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is core maybe a 50mm hole down through this wall, and we've got I think a 16mm armoured coming up, 2 DC strings and a couple of data cables, so one for the internet and one for CT connections. So what I've done is I've marked on the other side how far I want it over from the edge of this wall, and I've just measured inside, so obviously allowing for the bricks here. It's quite close to the corner, which is nice because we're going to have a bit of 2 compartment trunking coming up, so the core hole will be behind the trunking. We'll go set that up and then we'll get it cored out. Right, so what I'm going to do is just put a pilot bit through the wall. Basically on the other side I want to come out probably around on this brick above the damp course. So I might want to start up here actually, so by the time I've done the angle hopefully it will come out.
So we've got quite a tricky DC cable route here. We've got to get up into the loft, but we're in the top of the house. We're in the eaves here, and as you can see, part of it has been built out as like a room in the roof. So the actual loft space is only tiny, probably just about big enough for Reuben to crawl around in. I'm going to cut out a hatch here, which allows us to get closer to where the soffit boards are. There is a drop that we might be able to use where soil stack goes down from this top floor all the way down to the ground floor, but we won't really know until we get this open and we can try and fish a cable route. So I'm using the stud buddies here just to try and find where the studs are. These are brilliant, tool of the day, link in the description. You can basically find the screws in the plasterboard, and it looks like 2 drops here, and if we measure that it's 600, so that looks like it's about right. So what I'm going to do is use my saucy new Hilti multi-tool to just cut a hatch out all the way down here, big enough for us to get in, do our work, and then we can screw it back. And the idea of cutting it where the studs are just means that we can screw it back afterwards, do a little bit of making good, and it'll be like we were never here. That's amazing, that melts through it like butter. Yeah, so there is Celotex, which is what we thought. We're going to have to cut the Celotex out as well. Just going to have to do it in a way that we can put it back again afterwards, though, that's the thing. So, there we go. That'll do. We've got the soil pipe there, which is what we were looking for. Down here is a nice hollow void that goes all the way down to the ground floor, where we can actually potentially fish some cables, and that will save us having to run a conduit on the outside, and it'll look a lot neater. So that's really good. The other thing we're looking for potentially, but I don't think we'll need it now, is to get actually to the soffit boards, but they've boarded again, so I don't think we would even be able to reach the soffit boards very easily because they're behind another layer of board and another layer of insulation. But then from here we need to get up into the loft space as well for the DC cables, and there is a void here behind this insulation, so we're going to run some rods now up and see if we can get into the loft from here.
So Jordan's done his work for the day, he's cut a hole, and now he's gone off somewhere, probably for a massage or something. It'll be easy. I mean, that one was a bit tighter.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, I can try and move it over once it's up there and poke it back down, but I tried to jump it up and it was getting hit and something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'd be neater if we can go on that side if possible. But
yeah,
have a look up there.
I'll pull it up, then I can always put the rods down.
Yeah, exactly. You alright?
That is small.
Yeah, I think we're going to need a taller step ladder because you'll never be able to pull yourself up there.
No.
Yeah. Okay. You've got that little giant ones on your van, haven't you? Bring those up. Yeah. Because we're going to be up and down there for a little while anyway, so we can set them up properly like a loft ladder. Those ones. Yeah. Press it again. Again. We can see if we can just stack right the way up. Boom.
Are they grinding tiles already?
Looks like it.
I'm not being funny, but I honestly do not think I'll fit in here. There's a big aerial mast you've got to fit in between.
So where we need to get to is in that corner there. So I think the only way is to go through into there and then crawl through under. However, there is this kind of mast thing sticking out on this side as well. It's going to need a bit of Indiana Jones crawling to get under there, but I reckon it's doable for a Reuben maybe. Let's get Reuben in there. So we've pretty much proved that we can get up into the loft from here now, which is good. However, the hard part is can we get down in the soil stack? So we're going to chuck a couple of rods down the soil stack now and just see how far they go, if there's any blockages or anything. And if we can get all the way down to the floor on the ground floor, then we'll cut a hatch down there and see if we can get from there to where our DC cables are coming into the building. We're pretty much on the ground floor now, hopefully. So this is the boxing that we have shoved the rods down in from upstairs on the top floor. So in theory our rods should be here somewhere. Now we want to cut a hatch, but we want to cut the hatch at the right place so that then we can pop through to the outside wall, get into the duct that we've got, which is running to the garage, because those DC cables are going to come down into the duct and through to the garage. So I'm going to have a little look in the outside first, try and get the right height, and then we get it right first time, hopefully. If we came through there and then dropped down, then that would work, wouldn't it? We've got to get the data cables, but we were thinking maybe to do the data cables in the trunking along the top, weren't we? So we might have to do another hatch there for the data cables anyway. Okay, so that's pretty much bang on actually. So that is like the edge, so it would just come out slightly inside there, which would be perfect. Right, moment of truth, moment of truth. Oh yes! You beauty! It's actually it's block as well. They said it's timber frame, but it's not. It's like silicon block. So it's just dot on dab, this plasterboard here. I just love it when a plan comes together.
There.
Right.
So yeah, I reckon you want to be on this line here somewhere.
So what we've got a plan here is not just the DC, but also all the other cables that we've got to come through.
So you can have a little we've got
CT and a data cable to come up, and we've got the 16mm armoured. Now we're going to put some kind of like BG black consumer unit.
Because everything was going here, so it was going to go there.
What if?
So
annoying, isn't it? I suppose that BG consumer unit could just go here, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So if we can get a hole big enough to pull those 4 DC cables.
I reckon if you go, sort of here where this divot is.
Yeah.
Sort of up at an angle, so like this.
Just do a little 10mm hole to start with. You know what you want to be careful of though? They've run that old armoured for the Zappy, they've run it across in the brick. Yeah. So just need to be careful of that.
It's on that level there. Oh, that's rather thin. Perfect.
So we're upgrading our flashing game now. After our MCS assessment, one of the pointers that he gave us was to use a proper deck-tight roof flashing system for bringing the DC cables through the roof. So we've got this. It's like a LED flashing basically with this rubber nipply thing that comes through the roof, and we just cut a hole in the tile below so that we can bring our DC cables through that way, and it's a proper nice way of doing it. We used to bring the oval conduit through, but sometimes you've got a little bit of a gap around it, or it'll raise the tile up slightly and bees could get in there, or potential issues. So this is a slightly better way of doing it. A bit more expensive, but a bit more. So through this hole here, we've got 4 6mm DC cables to go through. We've also got a Cat5 for the hardwired Ethernet connection to go through there. And then as well in that duct, we've got a 16mm 3-core steel wire armoured cable for the power to the garage, because we're running a new distribution board in there. That's going to come off a small consumer unit here in the meter box. And we've also got a CT cable that will need to go to the meter box to run all the CTs. The issue is that we've only got 1 coil of Cat 6. We could have done with a second one. So we're going to have to measure this off long enough, cut it, and then pull the other one in off the roll. This is so like spaghetti when you uncoil it that I'm just worried that it's going to go everywhere and get all kinked up. The most intimidating cable pull in the history of Artisan Electrics. Well, they make it in 1 pull. One of these needs to be long enough to go through that thing and then to the first panel, to the closest panel, first optimizer, I guess. So I've always done it that all the rolls should come off the same way. So the cable should come either off the bottom like that or off the top like that, but they should all come off the same way. But Luke's saying that he's seen it where people do the 2 outside one way and the 2 inside another way to stop them all like spinning, which sounds quite a logical, good idea to me, but let me know in the comments how you would do it.
Right, it's getting close, I think. Oh, how lucky is that? So that literally just snapped off right at the end. Whew, that was lucky.
Yes, cables are through the other end, so that's a relief. We've just about got enough at this end. We're going to measure it off at the other end and see if any of them need pulling a little bit further through. And then we're going to measure off enough at this end for the DC cables to go all the way up to the roof, for the various strings, and for the Cat cables, one of which is going to the meter box, other of which needs to go a bit further to the router. So this is our first project without a roofer, as in we're trying to do the roofing work ourselves, and the guys are smashing it. It's really going in well. These tiles, it's quite a lot of work to grind them down, but once that's done, they just fit into place really nice. So yeah, this roof is, you know, not far off being completed now. We were going to do this as a bit of a test, and then if we're confident enough on this one, we'd move and do the main roof, which is a bit bigger. And I think the lesson is Artisan Roofing Services is the next thing. It's great, yeah, really good. We need to be careful because you just got to think, could a bee get up there? And I think it could.
These length up to here, they'll definitely be long enough, wouldn't they, to go to that, for those panels?
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be enough to go up the soil stack, through the loft, out on that side of the roof, and then
nothing's got to get all the way
along. We need to probably look at the stringing diagram actually. I'll see if Wayne's got that. So we've just had a nice cup of tea, and I've got to shoot off now to a funeral, unfortunately, but I'm going to hand you over to Lee, who will carry on showing you the ropes.
Welcome back. No, you join us here on the roof because we've put in all the hooks for the rails so far, apart from this one, because it was being a little baby about it. As you can see here, if you can see from there, that we've tried to drill in 3 screws and they've all snapped. So we're just pre-drilling it and hopefully these dug it in.
So in this piece of wood down below, there's a giant knot in the side of it. So you see these like little bullseye things in the side of wood. That's where a branch used to come off, and it's an incredibly tough piece of wood. So if you hit a knot, you normally just go somewhere else. However, on this rafter, we're limited. We have to go here. There's nowhere else we can go because we can't bring the hook up. So it'll be in line with the top of this tile. We can't really go down because that tile's here. So it has to go here. They have to be aluminium. If it was a steel screw, it probably would be able to send it home. But because it's alley, it's a bit softer, and it's the dugger's taking it out.
So, because we've run out of wood, we're going to have to beton next to that wood, right? So we're going to have to beton it up. But we've had a long time serving member to Artisan Electrics, which is Jenny.
I'm still Jenny from the block.
Kind of split off. Also goes by Chippy.
And still Jenny from the block.
Yeah, still Jenny. She's still Jenny from the block.
But even Jenny has some knots. Like, this is what we're talking about. See these rock hard bits where branches used to be. So we're gonna have to sacrifice Jenny. How do you feel about this, Jenny? I know it's tragic.
Still Jenny.
Couldn't put it better myself. Just couldn't put it better myself.
So we've lost Jenny. She's up in the roof now, but we've still got Jenny from the block. We're keeping her. So rest in peace, Jenny.
Shall I come round?
The Jenny's too low, so there's that. It's sunk down on that side. So when we're screwing to it, it's lifting up the other side.
You heard it here first. The Jenny is too low.
Unless we put something underneath it.
Strong man. Get blown away.
I'm changing up the Artisan uniform. I decided we're not smart enough, so we're all going to be rocking these kind of outfits from now on. And safe style glasses go quite well with them, I would say. So make sure you check out the link in the description if you want to get a cheeky discount on these beautiful safe style glasses. And if anyone wants from Armani wants to sponsor us for our new workwear, please hit us up, send us a message. So while the guys are putting the roof hooks on the main roof, Luke and I are down here trying to figure out a bit more cable routing. The customer's asked us to run in 2 extra Ethernet cables from his office, which is up on the top floor near where we're running the DC cables from, down to here to the router, which is in there. So we've got our route down the soil stack now, but what we've got to figure out is, can we get a cable, or 2 cables, in fact 3, because we've got to get our own data cable, across through this ceiling somehow, down through this cupboard, and then through the wall here. So we've got to get into the Ethernet port down there basically. So that is our fun challenge now. So first thing we're going to try is Luke's going to try and take these downlights out and see if we can see what's going on inside the ceiling, which way the joists go.
Let's get in this one here, this section, just go along and maybe cut a hole there and a hole here, just the 2 circle ones, just get down here, and then I reckon you'll be able to get all the way down here.
So here on the first floor, you can see that is the boxing going down there, where that soil stack goes. And then in the floor above is our cupboard where we've cut our hatch. So we literally fished all the way down from the top floor to the ground floor. And then where the Ethernet cables need to go to is just on the other side of this wall. Once we're up in the soil stack, we can run the cables through this void here, which goes all the way along into that room. And then I just need to find out from the customer exactly where he wants the cables running to.
Okay, so I was just going to drill a 100mm hole here, but obviously if they're eco joists, all of them are different sometimes. If they're eco joists, there's a chance you might actually be able to fish from the spotlight to the far corner, because basically they have a big gap where they're supported by metal hangers and things like that, so you can actually fish through them. So I'll quickly stick a rod up there and see if I can, but if not, we'll have to make a couple of holes just so we've got access points. Oh, see, look, I can. Let me see, so I've got 2.
Oh wow.
Wow. So yeah, I've just put a couple of rods up, and it's actually going up to here from this spotlight. So obviously that's going right into the corner, into the soil stack where we want to be. So I'm going to attach probably a chain and magnet and just see if I can get it and fish it down the soil stack, and that will save me cutting any holes.
Oh man, honestly, you should have been out there. That was nuts. Literally from one minute to another, the weather changed. the heavens just opened and the dark clouds came, thunder started rumbling, and it just started chucking it down. They were just finishing getting one rail on, so everyone like was screaming and just running down from the roof trying to get down, and they're just taking shelter in the garage at the moment. But yeah, bottom rail is on the roof at least, so that's good.
Okay, so we tried the magnet and chain that for probably about 10 minutes, and we're just struggling to get around this bend because one, our chain's not really long enough to drop all the way down this soil stack. So I'm afraid we're going to have to resort back to method B and just drill a hole, I think. So yeah, we'll drill a hole quickly and see if it's any easier. Oh, look at that. Dot and dab with cable going down.
Oh, it is dot and dab here. So we've got this cut open now. It's a dot and dab wall. We thought it was a stud wall, but there's quite a nice big void. I can get, you know, my hand back there easily enough. There is a capping here because there's a spur for the burglar alarm on the other side, but you know, you're not cut into that. But there's a big lump of, what do you call it, dob or dab? Dot or dab. There's a big lump of plaster here that we need to try and chisel out to just get up here into the ceiling. But I'm going to just shove the cable tongue down here first and just see if we've got a route all the way down to the floor behind this dot and dab. I think we've got a clear route all the way to the floor, but we will need to drill through the bricks on the other side to get through there. So now we've cut another hole here. On the other side we're going to come just above the skirting, so we're just going to be able to now drill through at an angle, pop out just above the skirting, and then run the 3 data cables in, a bit of trunking along the skirting through that cupboard.
Start it up.
Perfect. That's fine, you're right in the corner.
Great.
On the wall.
Oh, still got it.
To the left slightly if you can.
It wasn't a difficult one, was it? Good old cable tongue, fantastic bit of kit. All the tools that we use today, all these amazing tools, links in the description where you can get them. And if you do buy them through our links, you support the channel as well. Right, so now we've chipped this bit out, we can get above the ceiling. So I've just got to try and ease the cable tongue around this corner now and grab it with my hand here in the ceiling. It's getting late, it's past the end of the day, so I'm going to leave all these rods in place for Luke, and he's going to carry on tomorrow. Hopefully they can get the cables in. See you in the morning. Ah, hello, me again. Luke chickened out. He's left me to come back and do the hard work. No, I'm joking. He got stuck on some other stuff, so while the guys are up on the roof fitting some panels, I'm going to just try and help get these data cables through finally into the living room. And it's basically where I left it off. I feel like, you know, with a bit of fresh energy, it's, you know, fresh in the morning, I should be able to get it done. So let's give it a go. Oh, no. So close. Yeah, got the end. Oh, yes. You beauty, look at that. So I can literally tie the cable on here and then pull it through there. So now we've got a route for our data cables here, and we've just got to pull them in. So we've got our one from the garage, which is for our network switch in the garage for all our my energy devices, and then these two which come up from the loft. I'm just going to roll them out so that they're all nice and straight, and I can kind of bundle them together, and then we can pull them all in one hit, hopefully. Spaghetti junction. So the longest one is one that goes up to the loft. This one is the one that goes to the garage, and then the short one is another one up from the loft. Who needs a cameraman when you can have super rods? Honestly, like, we're not sponsored by Klein or Super Rod or anything, but I've been a proponent of the Super Rod Mega Set for like ever since I started the channel. Basically, it's one of my favourite tools. It just gets you out of trouble so often when it comes to domestic work, trying to fish in cables. I just absolutely love it. And all the guys have got a set now. You can never have too many super rods. I'll leave a link below for those. Oh no, the cable's stuck on a screw now. Oh, oops. Don't you just hate it when you lean on a switch and then turn the lights off and plunge yourself into darkness? Too many pockets syndrome. As electricians, we tend to wear things that have lots of pockets, and then I always forget which pocket I've put things in. So it's like, which pocket? And inevitably I search all the pockets and forget one pocket where the actual thing is. Let's count, right? We've got 2 pockets here. We've got, so that's 1, 3. This is like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then the back ones, 21 pockets. And I've probably missed some, you get the point. It's like, there's too many pockets. It's great, very handy to have pockets, but when you've got too many, it can cause challenges to a feeble-minded person like me. There we go. So I've taken the ball and chain off the end of this rod and I'm going to attach it on here, just because we've got quite a tight hole around the drop where the soil pipe comes through the plasterboard in the ceiling. So if I attach this on, I can drop that down the hole around the soil pipe, and then I can literally just tie my cables onto that. Right? Have you been up in that loft?
Yeah.
You managed to get in past that aerial?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It just comes up.
You just clip them?
Just clipped across.
Well done. Oh yeah, I got it. The one-handed, can you screw the ball and chain onto the rod?
That's like torture.
Ketosis, oh mate, it's amazing. Like once you get past the first couple of days and the stomach rumbling thing, which clearly I'm not past yet, it's amazing. You get home and you're like, oh, I'm so looking forward to my dinner. But you don't really get hungry at lunchtime. You look disgusted.
But what do you have to look forward to in the morning? Like at work,
Going
I'm just
to work.
like, oh, I got a nice lunch waiting for me. I'm gonna pour out my noodles, and then the steam rises, and I'm like, sweet chili, and then I just munch away at that.
You've been so influenced by John that you're like now a pot noodle addict.
Yeah, I've gone through phases in Artisan. I went from a child, which I still sort of am mentally, and then I went to Monster. Monster was like my lifeline for a while, and then I had just ham and cheese sandwiches. That was literally every day, ham and cheese sandwich, that was it. And then Corey really messed me up because he would always be like, oh, I'm ordering pizza today. And then I would end up getting pizza as well. And then I never earned any money for about 6 months because I would just spend it on pizza with Corey. And then John showed me the light. He brought out these naked noodles and I was like, chef's kiss.
I just eat salad for lunch, it's cheap and healthy. And sometimes I skip lunch and save even more money. If I get up the top there, Reuben, if you can pull the last little bit down, and I'll just make sure that they don't tangle. Okay, that one's fine. Next. Yeah, and the next one. Perfect.
Bless.
So now if you can go into that small cupboard, because I know you like those kind of places.
Yeah, I like not being able to breathe.
Yeah.
It's like where I feel most at
Loft,
home.
small cupboards. I'll shove those cables through. Put all the slack through, and then we're just going to trunk it through the cupboard into the living room.
Swish.
Super odd. If you want to send me a Cable Tongue Pro, well, in fact, not just me, send us a whole plethora of them for the team and 1 or 2 to give away to our audience. I'd be most grateful because this is snapped off a few times. It's been well used. It deserves an upgrade now.
Sorry for that quick intermission, but we're back with MTV Cribs. Welcome to the rest of the crib, the basement. Check it, very spacious. You can proper stretch out in here. We've got all sorts of devices here. We got a light, that's wicked. We got a light here, that's wicked. We got a box, sick, and we're hopefully gonna have some cables. Yeah, Roy.
At least you've got high-speed internet in your tiny crib.
Yeah, I'm getting that fresh fibre down in the basement.
Whoa, okay, just pull this one. Yeah, okay, that is all good. So we're going to have a 4-gang data point here, 3 that will be used and 1 blank. And actually on the cupboard on the other side, it's open here, so we can actually just drill straight through into the back. We don't even need to have any trunking visible on this side, which is nice. We'll just fill in that little hole that Luke's drilled already and do it that way, and it'll just be much neater. So what I'm going to do is just run trunking along here so that these will come neatly into the trunking and run all along the wall. I've just got to measure this section of wall here to see how long a piece of trunking I need, and then we'll do a flat 90 in the corner. That's 198 centimetres, that's 79, 198 and 79. Now I could just use a miniature hacksaw to cut this through, but as we're Artisan and we're sponsored by Hilti and we get really cool tools like this, why not? Like a hot knife through butter. Analysis paralysis, do you ever get that? Where you're like, we could do it this way, but what about if we did it this way? And you just go round and round in circles. I was like, doesn't really matter, just make a decision. So, customer wants it there, so we're going to put it there. It just annoys me because the trunking's down here, so I'm going to have to go across and then up, or I'm going to have to drill down at quite a steep angle. I'm never going to get out in that trunking that low, so there's always going to be a little knob of trunking going up. That's the only way, I think. So I was going to go all the way across because I was hoping to sort of drill through there, but that's not going to happen now. So we're going to go across and up. So that's going to end there. We'll put a flat 90 on here, go up and then through the hole. So cut it about there. Not quite as effective as a Hilti bandsaw, but sometimes traditional methods are needed. So I've got my cables in, trunking on. I'm just wiring up my data points now. So as a result, it was a bit of a headache of a cable run, but we got there in the end. Put a little bit of heat shrink on there with the labelling so we know which one's which as well. So I'm going to label the front up and then we know which port does which, and the customer can patch in the various ports to what they need in their router or network switch, and then we've got hardwired Ethernet to our garage for all our renewables stuff. So a successful job done. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of chaotic cable runs, chopping out walls and saying goodbye to old friends. If you do enjoy our videos, you know what, it really helps if you hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed, why not think about it? We've got lots of cool content on this channel, much more interesting stuff to come. And if you want to support the channel even more, think about joining up as a channel member. There's a lot of behind the scenes content, including my weekly vlog that goes out to channel members every week, where you can see what happens behind the scenes at Artisan Electrics. But either way, we really appreciate you watching. So thanks again and see you on the next one.